I am Olujimi. I represent Ekiti South Senatorial District of Ekiti State. Mr. President, with pain in my heart, I rise to move a motion on the bloody violence that marred the election into the House of Assembly in Ekiti State on Saturday. And everything especially happened at my Ward 7, Unit 7. Mr. President, the Senate notes that the Ekiti East Constituency 1 seat became vacant following the death of Mr. Iuwa Adegbuyi of the All Progressives Congress in the State House of Assembly. The Senate notes that the electoral body, INEC, fixed the by-election for last Saturday, 20th March 2021. The Senate is aware that the exercise, which commenced on a very good note, in a peaceful and orderly manner, was suddenly disrupted at noon when hoodlums invaded the polling centers to snatch ballot boxes. The Senate is aware also that in the process, no fewer than 3 people were killed and many others injured in the Ekiti East local government area of Ekiti State. The Senate also concludes that no election is worth the blood of any Nigerian, as democracy is the government of the people by the people, and people should be allowed to make their choices through their votes. The Senate accordingly resolved to 1, observe a minute's silence for the dead, which includes a female nursing police woman. 2, urge the federal government to ensure the safety of electoral officials, security personnel, and election materials during all elections. 3, urge the Inspector General of Police to order a full-scale investigation into the violence with a view to apprehend and bring to book the perpetrators of this dastardly act, and urge the National Assembly to accelerate the passage of the Electoral Act amendment and also the Electoral Offences Commission bill currently before it to forestall all future occurrences. I so submit, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished colleagues, I'm Michael Opeyemi Bamidele. I represent Ekiti Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, I want to second this motion as prayed in its entirety. And in seconding the motion, Mr. President, I want to say that I also identify with the views and the positions canvassed by the mover of this motion, distinguished Senator Olujimi, who in fact was an eyewitness to the facts around which this motion was drafted. Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, what we can do is to continue to call on all stakeholders on the need for us to continue to remind ourselves and remind our people and our supporters that no position whatsoever is worth the blood of any human being, and to continue to ask for peace from all sides of the divide anytime there's an election. Several political parties participated in this election, and for me, it's not about any particular political party, but it is about all of us as a people, as a state, as a nation. And as other elections approach, it is important that we continue to learn and to draw lessons from the implications of things like this, and to also continue to re-emphasize that it's just not worth engaging in any form of violence. Mr. President, I urge all our colleagues to allow the prayers as stated in the motion. And again, it's really an unfortunate situation, but we need to move past this. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator Kabirga.
Kabiru Gaya, represent the people of Kano South from Kano State. Mr. President, commending the mover of this motion, Senator Olujimi, for bringing this motion. Is also in the process of our amending the Electoral Act and then the Electoral Offences Commission. All these facts were taken into consideration. And I believe that no blood of Nigeria, no election is worth the blood of any Nigerian, as you said. Therefore, we should try and have free, fair, and credible elections. And for where we end up having a crisis like this, generally INEC has stood on the feet that any election that there is violence, to suspend or cancel that election until when normalcy have returned in that terrain. So, Mr. President, I second her motion, and I go along with her prayers. And there, the number 3, why there is, I need to make an amendment when we come to prayer 3. Thank you, Mr. President.
This is a very sad experience. Senator Olujimi is even lucky to be alive today because he was on ground when this shooting was taking place. And it's so sad that to conduct a House of Assembly election and people were killed. I think it's even beyond the Inspector General of Police. There should be a judicial tribunal that should be set up by the federal government to go and investigate what happened. Because some fingers were pointed out that I cannot mention here. And it's very embarrassing. If we cannot manage our state very well, then something needs to be done. So I will suggest a judicial tribunal to go to Omo and carry out a powerful inquiries there. And anybody pointed out should be punished. A sinner will never go unrewarded. It's very embarrassing. And I congratulate Senator Olujimi that she's alive today. Thank you.
Go to the prayers. Prayer 1. Observe a minute silence for the victims. Those involved with this prayer say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Prayer 2. Urge the federal government to ensure the safety of electoral officers, security personnel, and election materials during elections. Those involved with prayer 2 say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Prayer 3. Urge the Inspector General of Police to order a full-scale investigation of the violence with a view to apprehend and bring to book the perpetrators of the dastardly act. Isn't it? So L and Y missing. Those in favor of prayer 3 say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. And prayer 4. Urge the National Assembly to accelerate the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill currently before it to forestall future occurrences. Amendment. Senator Kabirga.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues. My name is Abubakar Kari, Senator representing Borno North. I just want to amend prayer number 4 that says, urge the National Assembly to accelerate the passage of the Electoral Act Amendment Bill. I would also want to add the Electoral Offences Commission Bill as well, currently before it to forestall future occurrences. I so amen.
And that was the prayer I wanted to make amendment for. So I therefore second his amendment. Thank you, Mr. President.
Apparently, this is Committee on INEC Affair, proposed by the former chairman, seconded by the present chairman. Those in favor of prayer 4 as amended, say aye. Those against say nay, the ayes have it. Leader of the Senate. Yes, Senator Nicholas Sofomo, you are raising your hand.
additional prayer